Hey guys, what's growing? It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. It is a very windy day today, about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, but with this wind it's closer to 40. And the crazy thing is, we're gonna get snow. The last time that happened here in the Bay Area was 2011. And that was only in the hills. And the last time it happened like at like the level, low level, below 500 feet of elevation was 1976, which incidentally was when I was living in Florida, and we also got snow that year in South Florida, which is very rare. So yeah, really interesting. So I have a doctor's appointment today, so I just have a few minutes to come out here and check on everything, make sure everything is kind of, okay in advance of the snow. It's not going to stick. We're not going to get accumulation, but it will be cold and windy and snow, which will then turn to sleet and rain. So I just want to give a check on everything. Today is Wednesday. We were out of town from Thursday through Monday night. We went to Salt Lake City so that Mike and the kids could snowboard for the long weekend. And so I haven't really had a chance to do a whole lot to check on things. So let's take a little quick tour. It's not really a garden tour. It's more of like just a kind of a well visit of the garden to see if there's anything I need to do before tonight when the frigid temperatures come in and start affecting everything. Okay, right outside the garden you can see that all the daffodils are coming up. Those ones that are much more further along are just a different variety. Some of these are coming up over here, not very many though. And then going into the garden, this gate sticks in the humid winter time. Garlic is looking fantastic, and there are a few rogue tulips coming up. Clearly bulbs that I missed last year because this was a tulip bed last year. The blueberry plants, some of them, are starting to get buds on them, as you can see. So that's empty right there. All these tulips coming along. Here's one right here. These kind of look like the snow crystal variety. I can't remember what I put in here. I didn't even label it. Everything else looking good. We don't have any asparagus sprouts coming up yet. It's been really cold. This past weekend it was warm here, but other than that, it's actually been a cold winter for us. The broccoli, I've got some tiny heads. I might just grab those and have them for lunch. But they're going to come out soon. These are the onions, still doing okay. Finally, still no germination on those radishes, not radishes, beets that I put underneath those cloches. So I don't know, maybe it's just the soil's too cold, because also no germination for the carrots that I put under here. So I'll just be patient because maybe they will come up at some point. These are all radishes, looking fine. And then this is the peony bed that's also interplanted with daffodils. Look how lovely these are. I think, don't quote me on this, I'll have to look it up, but I think these are the Pipit variety. Look how cute that is. All right. Pollinator garden's still looking fine. It got its trim, it's got its layer of compost, just kind of hanging out, waiting. But we are getting buds on some of the fruit trees, definitely on the blueberries. Actually, these trees that have been here for a while. Oh, okay, so the plum is getting some buds. Here's some right here. But the newer ones down here that we just planted actually have more buds. That's interesting. These are just some flowers. There's some rosemary in the front there. The stock, which is not doing that great, but I'm not too worried about that. This is kind of these are a one and done. When it gets warmer, they'll pop up. Oh, I just realized this cover blew off. I definitely need to reseal that. Cauliflower, broccoli. There's a little bit more of a head. That'll be good for lunch as well. So you can see these new fruit trees starting to get some buds on them. All of them starting to wake up. Ooh, this one's really waking up. Look at all those buds. That's great. All right, peas. I had planted a whole bunch of peas here and they had all germinated and now they're pretty much all gone. And this is because of birds. See, you can see the damage that the birds do. They just eat, they peck at it. So what I'm gonna have to do is re-sow. We're gonna have rain for the rest of this week. We'll have one day on Saturday where it's not raining. I will sow some then because we're getting more rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So I'll sow some more and I will net this area. Just low to the ground. I'll net around this trellis so that they can't eat it. Elderberry bushes, getting leaves on them. That's nice. As you can see, still haven't done anything back here, but it's on the calendar, the family calendar now, so we will be getting that done. Creek is still running. This is covered. I'm not going to uncover it right now, but the flowers are looking really good under there. They need to stay covered because we're about to get strong winds again. That's what uncovered this. And I just want to keep everything protected. So this is straw flower and Phacelia. And the straw flower is definitely getting touched by the frost, and that's not good. So let's get this guy covered and weighted down. And here along the walk, we've got daffodils coming up. There's those hellebores that were bright white when they first opened, and see how they aged to this really beautiful green color. Hellebores are so cool. Yeah, so lots of daffodils. All this stuff I haven't even begun to clean out yet. Like this cotoneaster needs to get seriously pruned. There's another bunch of hellebores back there. So all of this needs to get pruned. But take a look here. If you'll remember a couple of months ago, I treated the azalea and camellia patch. Look at all the blooms about to come out on this camellia, with sulfur to get rid of the iron deficiency, and now everything's green again, so it works. Okay, so back to the daffodils. Lots to start harvesting very soon. All of this needs to get cleaned up though, and I'm going to be doing that in March. And look at this little hellebore. So pretty. More daffodils. And then look at this camellia. It's like hard to get a flower that white. That is just so gorgeous. It's too bad that they're not fragrant. And they also don't really last very well in a vase. Their stems are not very strong, but they sure are pretty. So these containers looking rough. They're pretty much done. It's time for me to take them apart. I do have stuff to put in these, but it's gonna be too cold yet to do that. So we're gonna wait. These boxwood also need a trim. I usually keep them trimmed into like a lollipop shape, so I need to do that. Back garden, the Loropetalum is starting to bloom. Isn't that pretty? These leaves are like Velcro. And then look at all the Muscari. These all got planted in the fall. This is a partly sunny, mostly shade garden. So these guys are going to be happy back here. Lots of Muscari, also known as grape hyacinth. This one's a little bit different color. I think this was a blend of like 3 different varieties of blue. The tulip containers, they are starting to come up. Took the covers off. Squirrels aren't messing with them now, which is good. This one over here is a little bit further along. But these should start putting on a show over the next couple of weeks. This area here has just been covered for like 2 weeks. I mean, look at the frost damage on this Meyer lemon. I think it's still alive, but I think it's going to set it way, way back. It's been so windy too. So even though I cover it, the wind comes along and takes everything off. I'm going to put this pot down here as a weight. All right. All the stuff that I planted in the green stock, that is still under cover right now because, again, we're going to get a pretty hard frost and some snow. cottage garden. I've only made it a short distance with compost, so I haven't done this area yet, but you can see the lupines are starting to come back. That's beautiful green growth there. And daffodils are coming up. This still looks so much better since I kind of trimmed everything back. So it's a little sparse right now, but as you know, it'll fill in, and it's all going to get a fresh layer of compost. But all these little tiny spring flowers, look at these guys. There's a daffodil back there. Yeah, so the daffodil show is just beginning. Those are, I never planted those daffodils, the one there, that yellow one, there's a whole bunch of them there. I think they were from previous owners, but they keep coming up year after year because they will naturalize here. So you can see where I have put down compost. It looks a bit cleaner in here. We're about to get rain, which is good because it's starting to get a little bit dry. It doesn't take much, a week or so, and then things start to struggle because they want some water again. But yeah, the lupines are coming back. They're looking nice. This bed I still have not cleaned out or added compost to, but look at all these daffodils. Aren't they beautiful? So, so pretty. And then lamb's ear and these hyacinths, which kind of weird. They're these beautiful apricot colors, but they don't get very tall. And I think it might be, it's just not cold enough here for them. I think they just don't get enough chill hours. And look at the snowdrops. Aren't they precious? I just love these. And our containers that I potted up in a video recently. These guys are going to be happy with the rain coming, but they're doing okay. In the greenhouse, where it is a lovely 69 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees, 13 degrees Celsius, things are doing well. All of the succulents are doing just fine. I actually gave them a tiny bit of water the other day, but they're doing fine. If you didn't know, I actually have a boardwalk in here. It was an additional thing you could buy with this greenhouse kit, and I love it because when we get a lot of rain, this floor gets like a sopping muddy mess, and I can still be in here and stay perfectly dry walking around on the boardwalk. So yes, worth every penny. So all of these seedlings doing great, but I really, really need to come in and grab some and start putting them in the ground. These are all veggies back here, but I can't put them out yet because, as you know, I just said we're gonna have torrential rain, snow, high winds. That's just a terrible, terrible environment to put new veggies out in or anything out in. So that will have to wait till hopefully the end of next week. We'll get a couple days break from the rain. And these guys dried out a little bit while I was gone. So I don't know how well they're going to do with germination. This might be it. But that's okay because they're nothing super, super important. Like I started them because I had them. And here's some peppers. They're still on the heat. I'm going to keep them on the heat because they really need it. The seedlings for the farm, looking good. Still coming along. And all of our sunflowers for the first batch are up. And then the sweet peas, which I did a YouTube short about the other day, these have all been pinched at this point, so they will start branching and putting on even more growth. So I'll have multiple stems per plant with lots more blooms per plant. Then over here, these are whole trays of seedlings that I started right before we left, the Thursday we left on our trip to Salt Lake City. So they're only just coming up, but this is the first of the zinnias, this row right here. They're all on heat. I have this giant heat mat down here. So they're all on heat. And then here's another sowing of sunflowers. They're looking quite yellow to me, and I don't think that's a good thing. The ones under here are more green, so maybe I will take these guys. They don't need the heat. Maybe I'll take them off the heat and put them under the grow lights. Maybe they're just not getting enough light, even though, you know, they're in the greenhouse. Here are the potatoes that are still chitting. After the rains next week, I'll probably go on and plant them out. We might still get more rain, but I want to let the soil dry out just a little bit. And then here, see how humid it is in here for these sweet potatoes? They're happy. Right under there. I don't expect them to start putting up sprouts for another couple weeks. So yeah, so I think I'm going to take these guys off this heat, not because the heat's a problem, but because they need, I think, more intense light than they're getting. So I'll have to make some room on the shelving unit over here and try to get them under it. You know, it feels like intense light in here right now because it's the middle of the day, but I don't know that they're getting enough of it. They probably need more like 14 hours worth. So let me see if I can find some space for them. Okie doke. So this is the last space under the lights that I have. Everything is just so full right now and nothing really is ready to go out, except for these veg up here. So hopefully in the next week I can get them out and this space will be freed up for the next sets of seedlings, because this week, tomorrow, when it's dumping rain and sleet and stuff, I'm actually going to come out here and start my week 8 seeds. I have so many seeds to start for week 8. Week 8 is not just for the flower farm, but it's also when I start all of my seedlings for our vegetable garden in a box and flower garden in a box and our curated sunflower collection seed sale. So I have to have a lot of space available for that. Some of these guys may end up having to go out to the farm. Like I think I'm going to take all the sweet peas out to the farm because they don't mind the cold at all. And that greenhouse there isn't cold, but it's not completely sealed like this one is. But I can put these on the table out there. They'll be just fine. That will free up this whole shelf for more trays that I can put the new ones that I'm going to start on this giant heat mat. Yeah, it's just this constant rotation. But they'll be happy out there. That's where they're going to go anyway. I'm going to be planting those along the fence. So might as well take them out. So maybe I'll do that on Saturday. It'll be the one dry day. I can at least get them out there and check on everything out there. I haven't been out there in a week and I'm a little anxious because I don't know what the tulip situation is looking like. I have to make sure that the irrigation is still working. And I don't know if any of the stuff that I direct sowed actually has started to germinate yet. So yeah, I really need to get out there and check on all that. And then finally in here is all of these plants that I have. I'm just kind of keeping them watered. These guys are going to be going into containers once the weather settles just a little bit. They're going to be going into the containers in front of the greenhouse. So the heater's been doing its job in here, which is super awesome. I have it plugged into an extension cord that runs all the way to the house. It's like a 100-foot extension cord. But since it was tripping the breaker every time I plugged it in here with all the lights and everything, this way I can depend on it working. So I have it set for 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so it keeps things from getting any colder than that at night out here. We haven't had any problem with that during the daytime because, you know, it's a greenhouse, so it heats up nicely during the daytime. But at night, it definitely, going down into the low 30s, upper 20s, I need to keep it warm in here for all these guys. So that's been working. I know it's only the end of February. It feels like it's further along than it is. So I keep having these moments of like, oh, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. But I keep reminding myself then it's only February. You know, my season for the first rites of spring, my new CSA doesn't really kick off probably until mid-March. I mean, some of it's going to depend on when everything is ready, tulips especially. So yeah, so I still have time, but it feels like time is flying. Okay, I have, as I said, a doctor's appointment to go to today. I'm having some testing done. I'm having some kind of a health crisis right now, so I've already had a bunch of testing done. We're ruling things out. Today is a real important one. So I'm a tiny bit anxious, but also wanting to get some answers. So keep your fingers crossed that I can avoid cancer, because that's actually what we're testing for today. And that everything's gonna work itself out. Been trying to so that's kind of why I haven't been posting a whole lot. I've been having a lot to wrap my head around, and lots of doctor's appointments, and not despondency per se, but I'm having a hard time with motivation because I'm really, it's been hard to get my brain other places. So today I should get some definitive answers, and I'm really looking forward to that. I just need to know how to move forward. Whatever it's going to be, we'll deal with it. But yeah, it's a little scary. But this is life, and you just have to go with it and do your best. So on that note, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.